Om. ॐ एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ऐंकार ह्रींकार रहस्ययुक्त श्रींकार गूढ़ार्थमहाविभूत्या ओंकार मर्म प्रतिपादिनीभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरु पादुकाभ्याम्। उग्रं वीर्यं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ॐ। Welcome to today's class, Sri Vidya and Vedanta, in which for Vedanta subject we study Atma Bodha, Shankarakrita text, and in the previous classes we determined that the ultimate aim of Upasana is to gain the true knowledge of consciousness. The ultimate aim of Upasana is to gain. What Upasana? Sri Vidya Upasana is to gain the true knowledge of consciousness, which is nothing but self-knowledge. We told it is not knowledge about the self, it is knowledge of the self. Because when we use knowledge about the self, it becomes a split between the knower and the known. Here in this consciousness context, the knower and the known are one and the same. There are no two entities. Known and the knower are one. Who is the knower? The self. What is known? Self. Self is known. In Sanskritam, for self, aham. At the beginning of the Upasana, this aham is understood as Devi. The Upasana, deity. The beginning of the Upasana is totally Dvaita Bhava. The worshipper is there, one who is worshipped is there. At least for namesake. There is no Dvaita Bhava really, but at the beginning, the sadhaka surrenders himself, surrenders his will willfully through prarthana, prayer, at the feet of Devi, who is the Saguna Rupa as well as Nirguna Rupa. Saguna means which has name and form. Nirguna means which has no name and form. In the previous classes, we discussed about this name and form, which cannot sustain without the moolam. The true self-consciousness. The true self-consciousness allows the name and form to exist. There is no independent existence for the name and form. The name and form are temporary. When negated, it has no place to exist. It is superimposed. Name and form is superimposed. What is superimposition in Sanskritam? Adhyaropaha. It is superimposed, imposed. And it has to be negated. Apavada. When you negate, it is not real. I don't give the same equal order of reality as I understand the consciousness. That is the best way of negation. So the Upasana begins with Dvaita Bhava. In the first half of the lecture, every class we discuss only about Sri Vidya Upasana, and later we give some ideas of Vedanta based on Atmabodha text. The whole idea of designing this class in such a way is this Upasaka blindly has a faith. This faith system or belief system is not at all Hinduism, or it doesn't belong to Vedic religion. This faith system or belief system is the influence of later addition or influence of some other religions, world religions. Because of the influence of some other religions on Hinduism or Vedic religion or Sanatana Dharma, we also started this type of prarthanas, prayers. The true meaning for prarthana or prayer is this. Prayer is the willful surrender of will in prarthana, and that itself is the result of prarthana. I surrender myself. Myself means what? I give importance to my body, mind, sense complex so far. I was giving. Now I surrender to Ishvara in view of understanding the unreal nature of my body, mind, sense complex, and to understand the true nature of the self. In one way, it is the beginning of the self-discovery. So it gives that motivation to the sadhaka. And of course, puja. That also coming under a krama, a methodology, a procedure, will definitely give a phala. Puja is a karma. Prayer is a karma. Archana, Kshetradana, Tirthadana, going to temples, sacred baths in Ganges, visiting Kailash, all these are punya palas, punya karmas. Definitely they will give results, pala, punya pala. So that will help for the upliftment of the jiva from the clutches of ego. Here I have used the word surrender, and this surrender word also a misunderstood word through some other religious understanding. I negate my anatma, that is surrender. I negate my anatma. You have to define I, what is atma. Here when I use anatma, I is equal to atma. The negation of anatma by atma is surrender. The manas, buddhi, chit, ahankara understand that our existence is temporary. We are not independent. We, manas, buddhi, chit, ahankara, we four people are depending upon consciousness. So far, we were claiming that I-ness. Not highness, that also true. I-ness. Now, this I-ness goes to consciousness. That is, this process is called surrender. So, for this, bhakti is used as a tool. Bhakti priya, bhakti gamya, bhavana gamya. All these terms are what? It is a bhavana. As though the deity is in front of me. I submit myself to the deity. It is the submission of manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara to the reflected consciousness. When this cancels each other, what exists? Only consciousness exists. Those who have attended the previous classes could follow this kind of explanations. If it is difficult to follow, don't worry, you will be able to understand at the end of the whole course. I will make you understand. So here, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara is doing a surrender to Atman. Manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, which are temporary, is doing a surrender to Atman. Now, I-ness is lost by manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, because the true I is equal to consciousness, Atman, which is I. So now the puja begins. And there are certain procedures in Karma Kanda. This is karma. What we are doing is purely karma. How upasana is different from karma, I will explain. What do you call as a karma is which gives result? Karma means there must be a result. If you do a punya karma, the punya pala will be the result. If you do a papa karma, the papa karma will be a result. Puja is a punya karma. So you will get punya pala. You will accumulate punya pala. So the puja begins. How to do the puja? Everything is given in the Karma Kanda portion of Vedas. And as I told in the very beginning of the class, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. All these three ashramas are given karma. The karma of Brahmacharya is Brahma Yajnam, Sandhya Vandanam, Guru Vandanam, Surya Namaskara. All these are Brahmacharya karma. In addition to this, the Grihastha karma is added with Agnihotram, maintaining the fire. Fire is very important as well as the Pashu cow in Vedic tradition, Vedic way of living. In Vedic way of living, these two are very, very important. One is cow, another is fire. As I told in the previous class, Nachiketa, when he goes to Yamaloka and meets the Brahma Vidyacharya Yamaraja, he is asking for 3 boons. Out of that, Yamaraja offers 3 boons to Nachiketa and he can ask anything as a boon. Then Nachiketas asks the second boon as Agni Vidya. We studied about 32 Vidyas. Out of that, Agni Vidya is one. Vidya means knowledge, Agni means fire. In the beginning, this Agni Vidya will be a ritualistic practice which is used for conducting yajnas. While conducting yajnas, you would have listened from the priests who are doing, pandits who are doing this yajna as Swaha, Swaha. Vedas say Swaha is the wife of Agni who takes the Havir Bhagam. What are all the offerings you do in the Agni? It will be taken by Swaha to the appropriate Devata. If you say Om Surya Yaswaha, this Swaha will take the offering to Surya Devata. That is the job of Swaha. And Swaha has esoteric meanings also. We will study. So Agni Karyam, Agni Hotram. Agni is the dharma for a person who lives according to Vedic dharma. So maintenance of this Agni at home is very important and which is used for daily Vedic ritual is very important. In those days, I have told you, they will not leave Agni alone because it may get settled or it will become cold. So that they will carry along with them. Agnihotris will carry, while traveling also, they will carry Agni along with them. In a pot, in a mud pot, they will carry Agni and wherever they go, they do Havan with the Agni. So Agni is Agni Vidya in one way. And another understanding of Agni is Agni is equal to Vidya. How Agni is equal to Vidya? As fire destroys everything, Vidya, the knowledge, destroys ignorance. So Vidya and Agni are one. In Yajna, in the fire of Yajna, whatever you put, that will take the form of fire. Whatever you put, that will take the form of fire. If you put the rice flakes, they will also burn and they will take the form of fire. If you put banana, that banana will also become a flame and it will take the form of fire. Everything will be fire. Everything will become fire. None other than fire, nothing other than fire will be seen. So Agni is very important in Grihastha Dharma. What do you do? And lighting the lamp with Agni. Making the prasada with Agni. Illuminating the room with lamps, Agni. Conducting Agnihotra, Agni. Everything is Agni in this Upasana. Then we were talking about Bhakti. How Bhakti becomes Upasana. At the beginning of the Bhakti, Bhakti is karma. Bhakti leads to puja, puja is karma, which will give punya phala. And what is the difference between mere bhakti and upasana? In bhakti, when this bhakti becomes bhakti yoga, it is upasana. What is bhakti? What is bhakti yoga? Bhakti done with selfish requests, prayers are all bhakti, mere bhakti. You have faith on a devata and you are pleasing the devata and you are asking for some boon. Then upasana is somewhat higher level of bhakti in which you don't have any selfish reason, but at the same time selfless bhakti you have. You think that this bhakti is Mamopata Samaste Durita Kshayadvara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham. Why you are doing the Sankalpa? Shri Parameshwara Prityartham. For the Priti of, for the favor of, in favor of the Devata, I am doing this. So whatever comes is prasada. I accept as prasada. As I told in Karma Yoga, when you do karma with some expectation of results, it is karma. It may be positive or negative. When you do the karma as Karma Yoga, then you have no authority on the karma phala and you surrender it. The phala is surrendered. Like that, the phala comes through bhakti is also surrendered in upasana. The closeness of the devata and the upasaka is too less in upasana. In bhakti, it is little distant than the upasana. Because whatever love you have towards your Devi, towards your Devata, it is for a reason. I am going to, once the Devi appears, immediately Devi appears in front of you and shows her hand. I am blessing you. What are all the boons you want? Immediately we will have a list. Long list. As if we are buying materials to conduct a marriage. They will be having a long list. So starting from salt or turmeric powder. They will have a long list because to please thousands of the guests. Like that, this person who is in bhakti now sees Lord in front of him. What he will do? Whatever the thing he wants, he will list it out. And one secret I am telling, he will be blessed whatever he asks for. It is true. He will be blessed. In Puranas, we see these stories. Lord appears in front of the Upasaka or Bhakta. Then the Lord asks, what do you want? Why did you call me? Oh my Lord, I want Triloka rulership. I want to rule three lokas. Even demons have done this bhakti. We see Ravana as a Shiva Bhakta and some other than Ravana, some other demonic characters are also bhaktas. They do upasana of Indra or Mahavishnu or Shiva. Then these deities appear in front of him and they bless them with the boons. Okay, I get boons. Varam. I get varam. What will happen there later? I will be the possessor of that boon. I will enjoy. Again, Papa or Punya is going to come. The deities know this very well. So Devatas will bless whatever you want because they don't want to keep the debt in their account. They want to settle the account. You have chanted 1 lakh Mahalakshmi mantra. You will be blessed according to your Purva Punya Phala with some money added with this Phala also. You will be blessed. Definitely. Otherwise, the debt will go to the Devata. That is the true nature of this universe. Whatever you supply to this universe will come back to you 10 times. Whatever you give to this nature, nature will give you back 10 times. As we do in agriculture. We sow 1,000 seeds of paddy. How many seeds we harvest? 1,000 only? Many times multiplied. Like that, this prarthana or puja, nama sankirtana, all this will fetch multiple times of benefits to you. If it is so, Swamiji, what is wrong in doing that? I can say Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha million times and I can earn $1 million. What is wrong in that? And that should be in your Purva Punya. Note that point. And this Punya of chanting will also be added. And if you follow the rituals according to Shastra, Vedic rituals, then you will be blessed. Definitely you will be blessed. That is why Rajya Suya Yaga is there to win lands. Dana Akarshana Yajna is there to Akarshana, do attraction of money, wealth, prosperity. Whatever you ask, Devi blesses you. And Putra Kameshti Yaga is there. Santana Gopala Krishna Homa is there to get progeny, childbirth. And to cure diseases, there are mantras. We do that also. Life-saving mantras. If Purva Punya is there for that particular jiva, and he is blessed to do the homa, and to do the prarthana also, only Ishvara should bless. Then it will give you the results in multitude. Slowly the Upasaka in forthcoming births become tired of these things. I have told about Kubera Homa. People are attracted towards Kubera in recent days. And there are Japan Kubera, Chinese Kubera, a lot of Kuberas are there. We have also one Kubera in our Hindu tradition. Kubera is said to be the lord of a particular direction in north as the Kshetra Phalaka, who do Paripalanam of this Kshetram in northern direction is Kubera. But he was later in a Vedic text given a higher order, and he has become the manager of the treasure of this universe. He has no treasure, but he has been blessed by Lakshmi Narayana to gain this administration job of maintaining the wealth of the universe. And there are many Puranas about this Devata, Kubera Devata. And he has one additional point also. Kubera has one Papa point, one Punya point. What is the Papa point of Kubera? Kubera should not be worshipped alone. Kubera Puja should be conducted only with Lakshmi Narayana Puja. First, we should respect Mahavishnu, then we should praise Lakshmi, then we should praise Kubera. Most of the people don't know this because some free yantras are coming and they buy yantras, mantras over through internet nowadays. And they chant Kubera mantra learning from internet. It will give white spots in the face and the body if Kubera is worshipped alone. I repeat, it will give white spots in the face and the body. The decolorization of skin will happen for the Upasaka if he does Kubera Puja alone without invoking Lakshmi Narayana. This will be an added point. That is why I am adding. So how this Kubera Puja should be done? Along with Lakshmi Narayana. They are the lords of wealth. Kubera is the manager. And in Kali Yuga, there will be temples for Kubera. And we need not wonder if there is a temple for Nriti also in future. People will build something which is not available, let us build it. Like this, now the trend is going on. So people may tempted to build temple for Indra, temple for Agni, temple for Yamaraja, temple for Nirti, and Kubera, Vayu, Ishana, etc. There is no need for that because they are always present. If you install Shivalinga and invoke Lord Shiva, all these 8 Kshetrapalakas will be there without invoking. And in Yajnas, we respect them also. For us, everything is Ishvara. Kubera is none other than Ishvara. There is a question, who is Nriti? Nriti Devata is the ruler of southwest direction. Nriti Devata is the ruler of southwest direction. He is a demon. He is a Bhutam. That is why we put more weight on southwest. That is why we press him, suppress him. Don't come up, don't come up. We will put all weights on you. So if you don't put weight in your southwest direction of the house or workplace, then negativities happen. It is because of this angle approach. So I am sure that we are deviating from the topic. I don't want to take more time as 34 minutes have gone. My first talk should be about 30 minutes. I have already exceeded 4 minutes. So in short, in summary, what is the basis of my first talk? The first talk is about puja and upasana. Puja is to please the devatas. Devatas are the sacred higher beings, celestial beings and they rule in subtle forms, they rule this world. For us, everything is Ishvara, everything is Devata. In the first talk itself, I told you Surya Devata, Agni Devata, Nag Devata, everything is Devata for Vriksha Devata, for everything is Devata for us. Even the door is Devata for us. If you hit the door with your leg, your grandma will say, don't hit. There is God in it. Why only on the door? On window also God is there. Everywhere, sarvatra asti. Ishvaraha kutra asti? Sarvatra, in all places, Ishvaraha asti. So everything is Ishvara for us in that context. So from the selfish bhakti to selfless bhakti is upasana. We are close, upa asana. We are sitting near the Devata. Now slowly we are going near. As if the peon of the attender of the office becomes manager. Manager is closer to the boss. Now he is not boss. We will make him boss once. Now he thinks that boss is my superior. This is the level we have attained. And today we have indicated about the Dvaita Bhava of the Bhakti and the stage before realizing Advaita Bhava as Upasana. So Upasana is higher than the Bhakti. Who is approved to do Upasana? Those who have completed their material family responsibility. And what that ashrama is called? Vanaprastha. After completing the Grihastha ashrama, now he is entering into the fourth ashrama. I have some sharing screens. This shloka is from Varivasya Rahasya text Pratamamsha. Vidyanancha manunam manusankyanancha vidyanam upadeshta jayati tharam narasimhanandanata guruhu. I repeat. Vidyanancha manunam manusankyanancha vidyanam upadeshta jayati taram narasimhanandanata guruhu. Vidyanancha manunam manusankyanancha vidyanam upadeshta jayati taram Narasimhanandanata Guruhu. Varivasya Rahasyam, the first shloka. Vidyanancha manunam manusankyanancha vidyanam. Guru is teaching 14 vidyas. Here Manu is the indication of number 14. Manu Sankyanam. Sankhya means number. 14 vidyas are initiated by the Parampara Gurus to the Sadhaka, and he is Narasimhanandanata Guru. I respect Narasimhanandanata Guru, who gives me all victory. The meaning. So the Guru is the one who can dispel the ignorance in the Shishya. It is a great blessing to the Shishya. Acharyavan Bhagyavan. One who has Acharya is the blessed person in the world. Acharyavan, Bhagyavan. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Only he can know. Veda comes from Vid Dhatu. Only he can know. And Mundaka Upanishad says, Tad Vijnanartham Saha Gurum Eva Abhigachet. The first line I am telling. Tad Vijnanartham Saha Gurum Eva Abhigachet is from Mundaka Upanishad. So this is the greatness of Guru. And I will send you through email the English version of this mantra. And it is important for the Srividya Gurus to initiate the Shishya with this particular first Varivasya Rahasya mantra. Because in that there is a secret. In this we are blessed in two ways, because Sri Narasimhananda Guru is the Guru of Bhaskara Raya, who is the author of this text, who is the great Sri Vidya master of our Samayachara tradition, Sri Basurananda Natha. His Purvashrama name is Bhaskara Raya, who came from Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu in 1850s. To Tanjavur. He lived near Tanjore, and in Tanjore there is a place called Thiruvidai Marudur, and near Thiruvidai Marudur, in those days Thiruvidai Marudur was called as Madhyarjunam. Bhaskara Raya's birth year is 1690 and he lived up to 1785. Plus or minus years will be there because it is history. And he has written Saubhakya Bhaskaram, Sedubandham, Varivasya Rahasyam. His three texts are very famous. And in Varivasya Rahasyam, which I am showing you now, has the secrets of Panchadashakshari Sri Vidya Rahasyartha. The secret of Panchadashakshari mantra is told in this text. Seeing this text itself is a great blessing. And now we will go to Atma Bodha. The first class we studied Tapo bihi kshina papanam shantanam vitaraginam mumukshunam apekshyoyam Atma Bodho vidiyate. Atma Bodha or self-knowledge is written by Shankaracharya to serve the purpose of those who have been purified through the practice of austerities and who are peaceful in heart. Shantanam, who has to study these things? Who can attend this class? So many people are requesting, but we select people according to the Ajna of Devi, according to the order of the Devi, only we select. And it needs some patience to study this. So Shantana. If you have a lot of commitments and your phone signal is on, we are happy in Tadakam because there is no signal. Mostly there won't be signal in Tadakam. But if you are living in a city, you will be continuously getting calls. Ashantanam, then you will become Ashantaha. So this Shanti is very important to learn. And Vitaraginam, that is the qualification. Vitaraginam is free from cravings of wants. So why do you do puja? For fulfilling the cravings of wants. Once I was conducting a Lokakshemartha Yajna. Lokakshemartha Yajna means for the sake of the welfare of the whole universe. One person gave me some donation. Somehow we missed his name in Sankalpa. He got angry. I have paid donation. Swamiji, your people were reluctant to add my name in the even in Sankalpa. Yes, it is a mistake from the part of the organizers, definitely. I told him one thing, when Lokakshemartha Sankalpa is done, you are also included in that. Simple to gain Shanti. They have done a common prayer in which for all beings in the universe they are praying. I am also one being in this universe. So there is no need of identifying my name. The prarthana itself begins with mama. You know, when you go to a temple, you are ordering or requesting the priest to do archana. Do sankalpa in my name. Mama upata samasta durita kayadvara. Mamopata. It begins with mama. That mamakara is the great problem, and you are starting with mama. So that should be selfless. Then Shanti will come, Vitaraga, Buddhi will come, and the person will become a mumukshu. Step by step, this mantra is well organized. This cannot be called as a mantra, this can be called as a shloka, but it is well organized. Tapo bihi, by the people of austerities, tapasvis, tapobihi, those who have removed papa, krina papanam, those who have attained peace, shantanam, those who are free from cravings, vitaraginam, then mumukshunam. Mumukshu is the saint who is in search of true knowledge, which is consciousness, who is longing for the liberation. Mumukshu is a person who is longing for liberation, mukti. So he is a person who has cleared all these eligibilities, requirements. What are the requirements? He should be a tapasvi. He should be free from papas. He should be a person of peace. And he should be desireless. And he should be a true seeker of mukti. 5 qualifications are told in the first shloka. What is the adhikaritvam? Who is the adhikari? Yat tapasvi is the adhikari. As soon as we start this mantra, some people may have this question. I have switched off my cell phone, Swamiji, but as soon as the class is over, my hand will go to mobile phone and I will open and I will talk. I will attend all the problems. Everyone will do. I am a person who has allotted only 1 hour for my tapas. I am not a tapasvi who has allotted the whole life for meditation. I am a part-time meditator. Don't worry. even then you are eligible, because your guru is a full-timer. You are a part-timer, your guru is a full-timer, so you need not worry. In that way, guru will teach you step by step, as mother feeds to the child bit by bit, showing the moon. Look, there is a moon, and there is a grandma making some vada in the moon. She will tell lot of stories. Like that, the guru will teach you by way of feeding you bit by bit, pinch by pinch. And sometimes if you say something wrong, guru will pinch you also, because mother. It is not a punishment, it is an encouragement. So this is the eligibility. Further it is explained, sadhana chatushtayam. Who is a tapasvi? One who has these 4 steps: viveka, vairagya, shatka sampattihi, mumukshutvam. One who has 4 qualifications. Who is a sadhaka? Who is doing sadhana? And he should have chatushtayam, 4 qualification. Vivekaha, discriminative knowledge from Atma and Anatma. Vairagya, he should have dispassion. He should have dispassion, vairagya. I have selected a path of bhakti. I have selected a path of upasana. I will continue my journey in this. That vairagyam should be there. Sometimes the physical body won't cooperate. Sometimes mind won't help. All this disturbance will be there. But we should have the vairagyam. To develop vairagyam only, they are telling 10,000 times you chant this mantra, 1 lakh times you chant this mantra. When you are chanting lakhs and lakhs of mantra, vairagyam will be developed. Sure. And shatka sampattihi is 6 austerities which follows. Mumukshutvam, desire for liberation. And shatka sampattihi is shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, samadhanam, shraddha. Shama. Shama is mind control. The mind should be used only to listen Shastra, not for others. So this is Shama, mind control. The Upasaka should use his sensory perceptions and mind only for Upasana and to listen Shastra. Then he is called Sadhaka. And Damaha. Damaha is controlling, restraining external organs. Uparati is Sannyasa. Sannyasa, how we can understand? Sannyasa means the attitude of sannyasa. You need not become sannyasi, but as though sannyasi. Once you know the secret of kartrutvam, kartrutvam means doership, and you are able to leave doership, and when you become from ownership to trusteeship, then that is equivalent to sannyasi. So now you are clear about one thing: I am not the doer. Akarta. Aham akarta. I am not a doer. Akarta. So that attitude of leaving kartrutvam, doership, is the attitude of sannyasa told here. Then titiksha, accepting heat and cold. Then samadhanam. Samadhanam is focus. In Sanskritam, samadhanam means focus, focusing upon one thing and one thing alone. And shraddha. This shraddha is very difficult to translate. And it is told that Shastra Vakyeshu, Guru Vakyeshu Shraddha, Veda Vakyeshu, dedication to Guru and Vedanta. Whatever the Guru speaks, showing interest and showing involvement in Guru's words is Shraddha. And Guru will not speak from his own mouth. So he speaks whatever told in Vedanta and Veda. So Guru's word, dedication to Guru's word, that is important. And we have done already the first shloka, but without this understanding, the first shloka will not be completed. So today I have done the first shloka also again. Bodhonya sadhanebhyo hi sakshan mokshaika sadhanam pakasya vannivajnanam vinam mokshona vidyate siddhyati pakasya vannivajnanam vinam mokshona siddhyati. As the fire is the direct cause for cooking, knowledge is the direct cause for liberation, not any other discipline. It is the direct cause for liberation. Knowledge is the direct cause of liberation. Liberation is not possible without knowledge, is the meaning. Already we have done. Avirodhitaya karma na avidyami nivartaye vidya vidyam nihantyeva tejastimira sangavat. This also we did. Karma, action cannot destroy ignorance. It has no contradiction with it, as it has no contradiction. Contradictory to each other can win or supersede the other. Either water can cool down the fire or fire can evaporate the water, because they are contradictory. When light comes, darkness goes, because they are contradictory. But here, karma supports ignorance. Karma supports ignorance. More we have to discuss. It will be a little tough to understand at the initial stage. Once we cross some classes, it will be very clear to you, as light destroys dens of darkness. Parichinna iva jnanat tannashe sati kevalaha swayam prakashate hyatma mega paye amsumaniva. Fourth shloka, today's shloka. Here also one example is there. Sun shines when the clouds move away is the simile, udharana given here. As the sun shines when the clouds move away. Sun is already there, but clouds have hidden the sun. Then clouds should be superior than sun? No. Clouds are inferior than sun. Even then they are able to cover the brightness of sun. Like that, it is only because of ignorance the self appears to be finite. Finite means limitedness. Atma seems to be limited, so that it gives a limited feelings to me. I can't do that. How can I do that? I am limited. I am limited by this physical body. I am limited by this indriyas. I am limited by this mind, buddhi. So, ignorance is the reason for the feeling of finiteness, limitedness. When ignorance is destroyed, the self need not be arrived or created, it reveals by itself. That is why mukti, jivite mukti, is the sadhyam, which is the possible thing. What is the means of mukti? Sadhanam, knowledge. Knowledge is the means of liberation. Vidya is the means of mukti. And to attain that knowledge, what I have to do? Upasana. So this is the step. Bhakti, upasana, jnana, mukti. Bhakti, upasana, jnana, mukti. Jnanam or jnana. Jnanam. Jnanam is the Samskrita padam. Jnanam. So bhakti comes first. Without practicing bhakti, one cannot become a upasaka. Without practicing upasana, one cannot become a jnani. Only an upasaka can become a jnani. Upasana means lot of devata upasanas there. Out of that, the one and the best upasana is Sri Vidya Upasana. In Sri Vidya Upasana, Samayachara, Kaulachara, Keralachara, Dakshinachara, Vamachara, so many acharas are there, branches of knowledge are there. Out of that Samayachara, what we follow is the one and the best Samayachara. So that knowledge can elevate the person to self-realization. Bhakti, first step. Second step, upasana. Little advanced, higher step. Then jnanam, third step, Tattvamasi Mahavakya, understanding. Fourth step is need not be attained, it is praptasya prapti, not apraptasya prapti, as the sun is already there, it is hidden by clouds. That's what this simile says. Sun shines when the clouds move away. Swayam prakashate hi atma mega paye amsumaniva. Clouds are hiding the sun. Sun is already there. When clouds are moving, then sun shines brightly. Like that, Atma is the true self, but the false self has hidden the Atma, and this teaching is given to the false self so that the false self diffuses. The Swayam Prakasha Jyoti, Atma Jyoti is experienced through knowledge, Vidya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. There is a request, Swamiji, kindly increase the volume level. Volume level is to the maximum from my side. And regarding the volume should be increased by the listener. We are giving full volume. If you listen less volume, it may be because of your device. And from our side, we keep high volume only. And I request the admin people to once again see this issue. If volume is less from our side, we will try to change it. But I am sure it is not from our side. It may be from the user's side. Thank you for joining today. All the best. Dhanyavad.